Hi, what's going on? My name is Chris Huckes, and this is Your Best Life Defined. How you doing today? How's that day looking like? What's it looking like? What you got going on for, let's say, the next 6 hours? I think it's like, I don't know, it's like 11:23 here. So whatever you got left in your day, how's it look? Does it look exciting? Are there some struggles you're facing? Chances are when it comes to the things you do, like your work or, just the routine that you follow day in and day out, it doesn't really hurt that bad. Is it what you want to do? Well, probably not. But it doesn't like, isn't like when you go back to the gym for the first week or so, or 2 weeks, you're like, oh, don't want to go do that. Oh, right. Sitting there, I was thinking about that. I'm thinking about what it takes to push through those things and to get from barely doing it and not wanting to do it to just making it part of your routine. And I was in a conversation with my son. My son calls me up, and we have this conversation. He goes, Dad, he goes, I think it's about calluses. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm going back to the gym. I haven't been in the gym in a while, and it's really hard for me to get up at 4:30 in the morning and go to the gym for an hour and then do all I do every day. And he goes, but when it comes down to it, it comes down to calluses. He says, it comes down to being able to wear yourself down to the point that you're not as sensitive to what you do as you are in the beginning. And he's right. He's right. And thinking about it, I mean, the reason I show up here every day, and I don't know if you've noticed, but the demeanor of this whole thing has changed because I can just relax. I can be me. I don't have to be all stiff and doing all this and that because it's not who I am that matters. It's the story. It's about what you can get from it anyway. So why would I worry about what you think? And besides that, I've kind of gotten some calluses for my fear. I've gotten calluses for what your opinion is or whether this is worthy of you or your presence. It doesn't matter anymore. It's about calluses. I've done this long enough now that my feelings for it are simple. I just do what I do. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm just going to do it every day. It doesn't hurt anymore. Like brushing my teeth, put my socks on. Been trying to figure out the recipe or the combination for success. I mean, that has been the emphasis of most of the podcasts centered around happiness and contentment, finding the joy in life and living your best life. But success is part of that. And I think success comes down to the ability for you to execute consistently. At least it does for me. This is podcast 140. Podcast 144. And I continue to do one every day or make sure one is published every day. It's about being able to repeat an action that takes you in a specific direction. Joe Rogan, my son was listening to Joe Rogan and he was interviewing someone who was a podcaster, and basically what it came down to in that interview was if you're going to be anything, you have to impart on that action. You have to take action in that direction consistently. If you want to be an artist, then you must create art. If you want to be a musician, then you must play music. Now, you can be a musician who doesn't play music anymore, but the point is at some point in your life, you have to engage in that action. And the more you engage in that action, the longer you can continue repeating what you're doing, the more chances there are of you being successful. And what brings you to that point is that initial time when you start. That's where the success is won or lost, is in that initial execution, because it's from the time you start until the time you've built up calluses to the point that it doesn't matter anymore that success is created. Once you callus up and you just know that every day you've got to do this, it's just what you do, right? The hard part's over. It's kind of like the life you live. Did you ever imagine when you were 17 that you'd be doing what you do every day for years on end at 30? Chances are, no, you never imagined your amazing life would be so hard, so difficult, so filled with crap that you don't really enjoy, right? But you've got calluses for it. I mean, like, it is hurting. I mean, granted, you may not like sitting in traffic with everybody else that you see every morning, but what are you going to do? Fight about it? Get angry about it? No, you just kind of accept it. You got calluses. It doesn't hurt that bad. Just part of the package, right? Comes with the deal, comes with the choice. You put it in your shopping cart. You put it in your cart, right? There you go. I don't know what you're looking for. I imagine podcasts. My wife's out listening to Murder, Death, Kill podcasts. She loves cold case podcasts, and she loves to watch crime TV, and she just wants to kind of figure that stuff out. And she's kind of in her own game with it. I'm really digging it. She walks and does that thing, but I think that's where we all need to be. We all need to continue to search and to grow in new directions, because if we don't, our life doesn't expand. Our influence and the influx of information to us stops when we stop moving forward. It does. You don't need any more training in how to do what you do every day. You can wake up from now until the time you die and do exactly the same thing, and it will require no more bandwidth than it does now. It'll require endurance, and because you've already calloused up yourself by exposing yourself to all the things you have to do every day, that doesn't even matter. You're just rolling. In order for you to take your life in a new direction, you have to pick a new direction for your life. You have to say, okay, now here's where we're going now, right? Here's where we're going now. And then you do it. Then you wake up and you do it every day. Well, in the initial part of that, your hands are going to be sore if you're doing pull-ups every day. Your back and your shoulders and your arms are going to be sore if your thing is you're going to do push-ups every day. You're going to add that to your life. And the same is true if you're going to educate yourself. If you're going to learn something new or create something new for the world, it requires you to show up every day and do that. Build those calluses up. Do it. Don't talk about how it feels. Don't look at your hands and go, oh man, I'm sore. Don't do any of that shit. Just do it. Just do it, do it, do it every day, day in, day out. Make it your mission to do that. Make sure no matter what else happens in the day, that one thing gets tended to. You do it. And before you know it, it'll be like putting your socks on. It'll be like brushing your teeth. Hey, did you do a podcast today? Oh, yeah. Come on. Don't even ask me that. What? Well, that's like asking me if I put my socks on, for God's sake. I do a podcast. I'm a podcaster. That's what I do. Whatever it is, take it to that level. Take it to that level. Get some calluses on yourself. Wherever that thing needs to be armored up, where we need to get tough at, then do that. Find that strength and then just go for it and build up them calluses to the thing that you're struggling with. And eventually, what's going to happen is it's just going to be like hiking. There was a time when I never imagined. So here's a quick story for you about calluses. Okay. So Sandy and I, we were getting back together. I had been working 2 jobs. Our kids were growing up. I think my youngest was in high school now, and she was about a year away from college. And I woke up one day and I realized, I thought to myself, damn, I better get to know this girl. Because Sandy was working out. She was doing what she was doing. She had a great job. She certainly didn't need me, okay? Although we made a good team, but our relationship wasn't where it needed to be, okay? So I decide, well, all right, we're going to start walking, and walking led to doing day hikes. And of course, Sandy made the mistake of mentioning she wanted to do backcountry hikes where you spend the night on the mountain. Well, that's a dangerous thing to do with me. Because if she says, hey, this is what I want to do, and there's any idea in my head that maybe that's something I would like to do, I'm off to the races, man. And it wasn't 2 weeks later, we were at Sportsman's Warehouse. We'd spent $1,500 on backpacking equipment. I'd spent the previous 2 weeks researching backpacking and equipment and asking questions and reading articles and learning everything I could, checking maps out, okay? Because that's just how I do it. I take action. I get calloused up for this. Well, our first trip out, even before we left the house, we were packing our packs. And of course, Sandy has been right there with me on this. So she goes ahead and she gets all her stuff out, and we lay the stuff out on tarps and we start loading these packs up. I think by the time Sandy got her pack loaded, she had like 46 pounds on it. Now, Sandy's only like 5 foot tall, and she weighs about 125 pounds. Not a very big gal. Now, she's a lot stronger than she used to be, so 38 pounds wouldn't be much, but back then, that was a lot of weight, right? Weed it out. We get it down to about 126 pounds, I think. Something like that, and we head out. Struggle. We struggled for the first few hikes. We struggled, man. I remember one time she didn't want to get her new hiking boots wet, so she decided to cross this log. She's going to cross this log instead of stepping the creek. Well, she went to cross the log, and she slipped, and she fell into the creek. Well, she landed flat on her back, on her pack. So she's in the creek. She's screaming. Water's rushing around her. She's saying, I'm going to drown, but the water wasn't deep enough to even get over her pack. You'd have to see it. But the point I'm making here is that we didn't think we were going to do it, and it was a struggle at first. It was a struggle. It was difficult because we had never endured that type of a burden before. Hiking in, the fear, the unknown, the bears that never showed up, all the responsibility. There's so many things that go into new adventures. And 2 years later, throwing the pack on, going and doing something crazy like that, it's nothing because we built up calluses. And what's cool about it is calluses can be built up with regard to attitudes towards certain things too. See, this is an example. I show up here every day, and I know there are people going, well, what's he talking about? He's boring, blah, blah, blah. But the point is that I show up here every day in part because this is building up calluses for my ability to do things that scare me. This is building up calluses for being able to deal with the unknown, being able to just push a hole in that wall called my life and move forward in any direction I want to go. I'm really, after looking at my life from the time I was a child till now and all the things I've done, are you really thinking that there's too many things I would be afraid to do? Now, I have my fears, of course. I am afraid of heights. That's why I rock climb. That's why we have climbing gear and we go to climbing gyms. Because there's nothing more thrilling than facing that fear and coming off of it and feeling not only the fear that comes with climbing up a wall, but also the exhilaration of climbing up a wall. I'm getting a double dose for the same price. For the same amount of effort, I'm getting a double dose of energy, right? So, I don't know, it's about calluses. Not calluses for anything, it's calluses. It's you being able to say, you know what, even though she or he's being a little mean to me, I'm going to continue to come with kindness. I can endure that long enough until I figure out that it's not going to work, and then I'll move in a different direction. But you can find calluses for anything you want to do. You want to lose 15 pounds? Get up off the chair. Make the commitment right now that every day at the same time, you're going to do what you need to do. So anyway, guys, listen, life is calluses. It's about endurance. It's about being able to overcome those burdens that you have, all the things that you think are keeping you from doing what you want to do. You have to just step into that realm, step into that arena, and just, Brené Brown mentioned it best. She told a story, and I'm not sure who it originally came from, about the man in the arena. You step into the arena and you're there, and everyone in the spectators they all have their comments. And they all have their opinions, and they boo you and they cheer you, whatever they do, right? But they're not in the arena. See, that's why I show up every day. It's scary as hell. It's scary as hell to know that there's the possibility that somewhere down the road, I'm going to look at this, I'm going to have 365 podcasts, and I'm still only going to have 9 followers. I'm still only going to have 2 YouTube followers for all this effort, for all that I've given. But guess what? I'm in the arena. Judge me, hate me, like me, don't like me, think I'm boring, thinking I'm great. Whatever you believe about me, the one thing you can be sure is I'm standing in the arena. You are the spectators. The world is the spectators, and they're watching, they're judging, and they're criticizing. But guess who keeps showing up? Yeah. Talk about calluses, I got them, and I'm going to show you how to get them too. Take a look at your life, and I guarantee you, if you do, there is always another opportunity to make it better. So until next time, just remember, my name's Chris Jaquez, and this is your Best Life Defined.